Wendy, you're the case manager for long-term recovery of Wadena and Otter Tail counties. How did you come to be? What exactly do you do?
As a case manager, I visit with all the clients that come in, all the people that have sustained damage during the tornado, and my job is to try to get people back to the point that they were the day before the tornado. So that could involve rebuilding of their home, emotional and spiritual needs, and we try to just help people recover, basically, try to get people back to where they were before the tornado happened.
I was talking to a woman last week. She had her house totally destroyed, and she said one of the things that really helped her, other than just the support, which was great, is she had an apartment and you guys helped pay for the utilities of both places. Is that something you do regularly?
That is something that we do. Every recovery center that's set up after a disaster is the community's recovery, and so each recovery is different from disaster to disaster. But in this case, the committee decided that if you have a home that was destroyed and you are renting a home, that the second bills are deemed unmet needs, and so they are covering some of those bills, like utility bills of the second home, because it's difficult enough in these times to cover your first home's bills, but to have two homes, it's very difficult to cover those bills.
And you know, I need to say that my family is one of the families that we've been dislocated from our house, and we have tens of thousands of dollars of unmet needs.
Well, currently we have 140 cases, and the unmet needs of those 140 cases is over $1 million at this point. We've been able to distribute back to the community or back to those individuals approximately $270,000 so far, and that has gone for windows, doors, shingles, insulation, anything that you've had to replace as a result of the tornado. The Recovery Center is here to try to help recoup some of those unmet needs.
I think that's maybe the most important part of what long-term recovery is doing. These are people that have already been identified that have a need. They were affected by the tornado in some way, and either their insurance, they were underinsured, uninsured, or things didn't match. Almost $275,000 paid out, and they have $1 million worth of identified
Yes.
unmet needs. There are a lot of charities out there, a lot of groups who are getting money in Wadena. I think that the long-term recovery perhaps is the most important because there's an identified need. There are definite gaps there that need to be taken care of. Throughout Wadena, there are funds set up. People have been asking me, I've been talking to some people that they want to give money in large sums of money, and I've said 100% that it needs to go to long-term recovery because the needs are identified. There is no bureaucracy, there's no government red tape.
No, that's correct.
It goes directly to the people and only to the people whose homes were affected by the tornado, which is really the most important because I'm a painting contractor, I'm working on my house, I talk to contractors every day. The thing that we fear the most is what's going to happen after the thaw, because houses shifted. There's going to be more unmet needs, and that $1 million may turn into $1.5 million. So really, to get to the people who were affected, giving to long-term recovery is really the best option you can do to affect people most affected by the tornado.
100% of the donations go back in direct service to the clients that we meet here. We have separate fundraising events for staffing needs. So the money that is raised for the Long-Term Recovery Center, 100% of that goes back to the people that need it.
I didn't know that. That makes it even more important because, again, you give $1,000, that goes directly to the people who need it.
And we also have, besides myself, who's the case manager, who works with the clients to figure out what their needs are and to get them through their recovery process, we also have a volunteer coordinator who figures out what needs are and tries to find volunteers specifically for the jobs that need to be done. Then we also have a construction supervisor who all the work that he does for clients is 100% free, and all of the volunteers that our volunteer coordinator finds to link up and get the correct skill level with what the job is, all those are free services as well. So your money really gets stretched a lot further when we're able to bring in volunteers to help do the labor.
tornado is really a hell of a thing, and we had so much to do, and we finally just said, we need some help. And we came in and we talked to Wendy, and we've been able to get some utilities who are still living in an apartment and not in our house. And as far as the construction manager, Tom has been able to come by, and he'll line up people. We've had sheetrock done. Tom has been done. We have to cover the materials, but we've been able to get people to help put it in. We have windows coming in. Most of the windows in our house were tornadoed and they don't work anymore. Well, we're just over what our insurance money was, but Tom and myself and some volunteers will be able to get those in, and we just wouldn't be able to have an energy tight house without the help of long-term recovery. You know, your whole life's ripped. I mean, that wind comes and it's something. And you lose somewhat of your faculties to look ahead, because every day it seems like there's more. We came in and Wendy was able to, be nice to us, and that may sound strange, but boy, you need that. You really do. And we were able to, okay, let's make some sense of this. Wendy and everybody here, look, what's best for your family? Get out of that house. If there's mold, you got to get out of there. And we needed someone to tell us that. And we knew it, but it's a big step. With the donation to the Wadena Otter Long-Term Recovery Center, you're helping people, only people, not facilities, not municipal government. Those things are important. They need to be taken care of. But there are people like me and people who haven't been able to advocate for themselves like me that need to be taken care of. And it's so important. Initially, you had some big donations from some different large national groups.
Yeah.
And they've kind of done what they can. So now, you know, it's important for us to get the word out that some local people, some local big businesses, people who have people affected by this, and Minnesota businesses.
Definitely.
We need your help. We need people to come through and make a donation to the Wadena Otter Long-Term Recovery Center, where the money goes directly to the people, not through government, not through red tape, to people. And what people? People who were affected by the tornado. Wendy knows them. You have them on a list.
I do.
And you'll find more of them.
That is for sure.
But you can't do anything without some more money. I mean, it sometimes comes down to rebuilding equals money. And
that's true.
There's something that Franklin Roosevelt once said: those with the ability have the responsibility to take care of people. So if you have the ability, we certainly think that it would help more than you could possibly imagine.
The Recovery Center is not welfare, it is recovery. And we don't discriminate against people because of how much they make. It's just, like I said before, the only qualification that you need to have to come and visit us is to be a victim of the tornado. And all your donations also are tax deductible. So if you need, we can get you a tax deductible slip so that you can turn it into your taxes next year and write it all off. So it's a win-win for everyone.
How many homes have you identified that have been affected by the tornado?
The original number was 504. And that could have been from just losing a couple shingles to losing their entire farm. So the total number of completely devastated homes, I think, is around 80. It kind of changes because as people go on dealing with their contractors, they're finding more and more damage. And so some of the homes that originally were slated to just be repaired have had to be completely taken down. So that that number seems to change, but right now, like I said, our total count is 140 clients, but that number is changing every day, and as that number changes, so do our needs. So like I said, our level is still right around $1 million, $1.2 million, and it seems like as the more clients come in, of course, the needs raise, but we're hoping to get as many of the people that had damaged homes come in as possible, but right now we're at 140. Our goal is safe, secure, and sanitary.